How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and we've got the Duel Arena improvements update from the Old School RuneScape team. As well as that, there's some new player-owned house furniture, and there's Zamorakian grape farming. So let's start off with the improvements to the Duel Arena. Not too long ago, they released a developer blog outlining some changes they wanted to make to the Duel Arena to make it a little bit easier to use, and in particular, a lot safer. They had a lot of positive feedback on the anti-scamming changes, and because of that, they've decided to release this without a poll. I'm not really a fan of the fact that they've decided to release this without a poll. Because there was so much positive feedback, I've got a feeling this wouldn't have failed. However, this is Old School RuneScape, and I'm fairly disappointed that they didn't release this with a poll. But anyway, seeing as it's in game now, let's have a quick look at what it is. You're now treated with 3 different screens when you're starting a duel. The first one is the duel options. This is where you allow or disallow what can and can't be used in a duel. In the duel options, there are 2 new rules: no weapon switching and show inventory. As well as that, you'll also see a lot more information about your opponent's combat level, so you'll be able to get to see their attack, strength, defense, hit points, prayer, range, and magic level. The next screen is the inventories and stakes screen. This is where you choose how much you're going to be staking. As well as, if you and your opponent agreed to do so on the first screen, you'll be able to view each other's inventory and worn items. And the third and final screen is the confirmation screen. This is where you can review all the rules that were set, and you can accept or decline, with the aim of this screen just letting you know exactly what you're getting into before doing so. This change will definitely make the Duel Arena much safer, hopefully more enjoyable. However, I am a little bit annoyed that they've introduced it without a poll. I feel that with Old School RuneScape it's crucial that things are polled, because it's so hard to argue against 75% of the community. And I'd even argue that the majority of what came through with the Zamorak updates isn't what was polled, and hasn't had a poll at all. For example, the most recent, Wintertod. It's a massive update and a massive change to fire making, and there was no poll saying, do you want the Wintertod or not? There was just one a long time ago saying, hey, do you want the Zaya thing? We might have a couple of ideas for it, but we don't really know. And all of the Zaya updates essentially have come from that, with a few exceptions such as the Woodcutting Guild. Anyway, moving on to the new player-owned house furniture. First of all, there's a new combat dummy that you can make in your combat room. When you hit it, you'll always do your max damage. There's also an upgraded version of the dummy, which is both undead and on your Slayer task, so bonuses of salve amulets and black masks can apply, meaning that you can hit even higher. One thing about the dummy is that it doesn't enforce enchanted bolts to trigger their special attack every time, but if they do happen to go on their special attack, you can see a new max damage hit. The last player-owned house furniture improvement is the introduction of 7 new teleport destinations in the portal room. These are to Lunar Isle, Seniston, Anakal, Waterbirth Island, the Fishing Guild, Apatol, and Great Current, which will be incredibly useful, and really those portal rooms can take you to a lot of places in the world now. And we've got the Zamorakian grapes. A new NPC called Boliger has appeared in Farmer Gricola's house in Great Current. Boliger is his granddaughter, who wants to be a Zamorak mystic, hoping that she can get a career on necromancy. So she's got a few basic Zamorakian powers, and mixed with her family's knowledge of fruit farming, she's managed to invent a blessing that can infect a bunch of grapes with the power of Zamorak. To unlock these blessings, you'll have to pay Boliger 75k, and you've got to be wearing a Zamorakian item, for example a Zamorakian monk top. As well as that, you have to have access to her grandfather's Tiff farm, which requires 100% Obsidious favour. Once you've bought a sack of Boliger's blessings from Farmer Gricola, carry them in your inventory when you harvest grapes, and each scroll will convert a grape into a Zamorakian grape, meaning that for 1 scroll you get 1 Zamorakian grape. To make Zamorakian wine with these grapes, just use them on a jug of water like you do when you're making regular wine. That requires level 65 cooking. Finally, in other news, the questions on the Stronghold of Security have been updated. Players with 200 mil in a skill now have increased chance of acquiring a skill pet in that skill. The left click option on Fairy Rings now teleports you to Zonaris. The right click configure option allows you to select a destination. Players can now sell penance equipment back to the Barbarian Assault NPC for 80% of its original cost. Watson can now be contacted via the NPC contact spell. There's now a table by the bank chest in the Vinery. Count check. The security vampire will be arriving in Lumbridge on Monday near the other guys to talk about account security. And the Holy Book colours have been adjusted to be more in line with Saradomin's colours. However, if it's actually the colours they said in the poll, That's wrong. They wanted to change it to be light blue, which is more in line with Armadale's colours, which is a little bit annoying. And the bug fixes are superior Slayer encounters spawned in Neve's cave can now be killed off task. The Apatol agility course now grants its completion XP only if you've completed the entire agility course. A graphical issue has been fixed with the chat head of Percival from a Holy Grail quest. The mining skill guide now shows Lovakite ore as members only. Some grammar has been fixed in the Canoe dialogue and in Monkey Madness 2. And unsubscribing while in the Warriors Guild no longer leaves you in Lumbridge with barrels stuck on your head. This seems like a fairly big and nice update this week. Like I said before, I was a little bit annoyed with the fact that they didn't poll the Duel Arena changes. I'm sure they would have come in fine. The player and house stuff seems like a nice improvement, and I'm questioning Zamorakian grapes. However, what I've heard so far is they're not too easy to get, so I'm not as worried as I originally was. If you want to discuss this update, please go on the forums or do so in my comments below. Click here if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape poll, the Oriana Alt. And if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, please click here for the poll content and dead map. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, dev vlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.